Welcome to the stream. Super glad you're here. We are getting started. It's already been a little hectic, to be honest. Um, about 4 minutes ago, my dog, who is about 4 months old, and he's already 25 pounds, came barreling through the mead room and unplugged probably a good 7 or 8 chords, and it was not a fun moment. So I am recovering from that moment, and that was exciting. So every single time I do one of these streams, he's chill for like the hour and a half before, and then the time comes to do the actual thing, and he loses his mind. So that's a bit unfortunate. So welcome though. I'm glad you guys are here. We are here for another Let's Talk Mead. Something I hope to do very regularly. Fun word. If I can. However, just barring a lot of things. So, hope glad you're here first of all. And I don't have anything crazy planned today. Really, I just want to kind of chat with you guys about your mead making things. Last week we did some interesting things. We played the Herculometer giveaway video, which is still up if you want to possibly win the Herculometer. We also did the Can It Be a Mead episode number 8 drawing for the ingredients. So that was a lot of fun. If you were here for that, you found out the ingredients, and it's pretty interesting. So let's read the chat some. Javier says, "Hola." What's up, TK? Eric, hey, happy Saturday. Seth, hola. TK, puppies are fun. It's fun and terrifying and insane. I'm sure it's like having a kid. Kids are probably a little more crazy. Will says, hello, everyone. Dow, good evening. Murphy, good day. Just found your channel. Hey, Murphy. I'm glad you're here. And Susan, hello, I like the background. Yeah, the background, actually, fun fact about this is, so I'm drinking this is I call it a tropical mead. It's basically it had, what was my recipe? I'm having to backtrack now. So it was a mead I made for a time lapse, and it was a traditional mead, essentially, for the primary. Secondary, I added 4 apples, 4 oranges, or sorry, is that right? 6 apples, 6 oranges, 2 lemons, and so that's what you see behind me. Alongside the video, or the music you see, I put together this fermentation kind of GIF thing, and so it's just a high quality video back there, and it's pretty fun. So that will be out on Monday. But this is what I'm drinking. I'm actually drinking what's behind me, fermenting behind me right now, which is kind of fun. So yeah, Sean, love the channel, thank you. Eric says, what kind of dog? He's a Labradoodle, so he's real smart, and he's got huge paws, and so he doesn't know how big he is yet. We're figuring that out slowly but surely. So hopefully he chills out. I had to put him away in his crate back on the other side of the house, so if you hear any light barking, it's from the dog, and I don't want to put him in there, but holy cow, he was a tornado, literally a tornado. TK says, drinking an orange cinnamon made with Fleischmann's bread yeast. Really? How do you feel the bread yeast did, TK? I'm curious. A lot of people say that well, I'll say this. My experience with bread yeast has not been great. I haven't had the best of time. Continuing, let's see. Just started my first batches of mead, 3-gallon buckwheat, and snowberry. Ooh, I want to add coffee to a portion of the buckwheat. I've done a coffee mead. I've only done, the ways I've done it were not successful. So I would, if you're going to add coffee, I would actually do like a cold brew situation and add some, I don't know, maybe a cup of cold brew to your gallon of mead. See what that does. I don't really know. I wish I could give you a better answer. Sorry. NJ says, welcome from Wisconsin in the midst of a snowstorm. Hey, wow. Is it, that's not fun. I'm sure, is it it's a bad snowstorm, knowing Wisconsin and that whole area, region of the world. David says, evening all. I need to clarify. David McDonald says, evening all. David Christensen says, I'm chilling with my pepper right now. Very nice. Todd says, discovered your channel a few weeks back. My 63% Scandinavian heritage has had me wanting to make a mead for quite a long time. I've been gathering supplies and hoping to get the batch started. Do it. That's super fun. Blazer says, just finished my apple cinnamon. Ooh, that sounds good. TK, David Christensen says, my dad tried activated yeast. Interesting. Sorry, I was reading TK's comment. I forgot, TK, you're drinking a commercial mead. I was thinking that was one you made. I think you can do well with bread yeast. I just am not the biggest fan of it, to be honest. I have had mixed results. Every once in a while I'll have... yeah, it's just mixed. So anyways. Okay, so I want to first promote a couple things. And I want to first say thank you to the YouTube members. If you would like to support me via YouTube and see my content a week early, because I get to do that, you can join me there. These are my YouTube members. Thank you to these people right here. I am super appreciative of them. It's $1.99 and you see all of my videos 1 week early. So I think that's a pretty good deal for $2 a month. You get to be the first one to see the video, which is pretty fun. So thank you to these people: Frank, Erinthus, I messed that up, Jason, Jeremy, Mo, and Jonathan. Now, I also have another option. If you don't want to do the YouTube thing, or you for some silly reason want to support me even more and do a bigger thing, you can join me on Patreon. So thank you to these people. These are my patrons. They support me on Patreon, and they're a big reason why I'm able to continue to brew things and experiment and spend the money to buy nice honey, to try things and stuff like that. Super appreciative of these people too. And I just realized that's not great. Sorry if your name's up there and I'm blocking it. So thank you to all these people. Again, if you want to be part of the patronage, if you want to be a patron of mine and get to see my content early, if you want to also have exclusive opportunities to taste meads and things for videos, I'm actually I've used that recently. I've sent some things out to some of my patrons who have been willing to help me with stuff, so it's quite fun. But I would recommend that for sure. So, and I missed a lot of comments, so thank you to those people. My last little thing, and I'll plug it again later. Oh, that was fun. My last little thing is my social media links. If you want to support, well, not support, if you want to be part of the Mead Brewing community, there are these things. There's the Instagram, which is just where I post things. Facebook down there is where I end up posting a lot of, well, there's two things. There's a group on Facebook, which is we're about 2,400 people strong now, talking about mead making, taking this community to the next level. It's a lot of fun. You can join. And then there is the Discord link is wrong there. I gotta fix that here in a second. But if you want to join one of those things to be a part of any of those communities, there is that. So I will actually go through and correct this Discord link because the link is wrong currently. And I'm gonna make sure and fix it. And I will get back to the chat. Just give me one moment, you guys. I'm struggling. Trying to do too many things at once. I don't think I've asked this yet. What are you guys drinking tonight? It's a Saturday night, for me at least. And I am drinking this lemon and orange and apple mead. And then I have a way taller glass than I thought of this maple bourbon. Is aged in maple barrels. So I did not intentionally pour that big of a glass. That was... the fun story about this was I was in the kitchen pouring this when the dog tore through the entire house, and I looked over, and next thing I know, my glass was full. So it's kind of like there was a divine power telling me I needed more booze to not be frustrated about that. But okay, I am getting back, I promise. Sorry, you guys. I am getting the Patreon link. If you would like to join us on Patreon, it is right there. Putting it in a couple times. Oh, did it goof? Oh, that's right. Welcome, TK, to the Man-Made Mead Maker. You can, thank you, TK, for supporting me. And TK can now see all of my content 1 week early and support the channel and sleep happy knowing that I'm able to continue to make videos for people. So, let's see. Trying to get back to where I was. Oh, I realize I'm scrolling through the wrong thing. Is there any way to make blue mead without using dyes? Here's the thing. I am actually in the planning to do this soon, and I'm doing it with well, I'll just say this. I'm doing a Star Wars mead. I'm planning a Star Wars mead series. I've done 2 of them now. But the problem with blue is that there's no natural, other than one thing. There's no natural fruit. You can do it with, like, if you wanted to dye, use food dye. But the other option is using the butterfly pea blossoms, which I actually have some. Now, butterfly pea blossoms are a kind of flower that people use often to change a brew to either purple or blue. And it depends on the pH, which color you get. So if you want to get the blue, I can't remember what pH it is, but you can use this butterfly pea blossom. And they end up making some really interesting things. I actually have... There it is. I'm trying to find my phone. I actually have a photo I'll throw up real fast of a brew that I used butterfly pea... No, I didn't use, but I drank the other day. I threw it up on my Instagram. I'm trying to get it up here for you guys. So this one right here used butterfly pea blossoms, and it was super interesting. It was a beer. I can't remember who was by now, but come on. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Hold on, y'all. Things should be easier. This should just be a simple drag and drop, but it's not. Where? Image. Oh, let's see. I'm trying to get back to chat. See people talking about blueberries. Blueberries can give a blue, but they often give a purple. I'm looking at a blueberry mead I have in front of me right now, and it is definitely more purple than it is blue. So I would caution you from saying that, like, it all are gonna be blue. Mine is more purple. There it is. Okay, so this is... Oh, wow, that's huge. 1 moment. No! Boom. It's smaller. This is a butterfly pea blossom beer. Look at that color on it. It's purple. I'm just going to put it right in front of my face. And it definitely, they use this stuff, and it got the more purple color than the blue. And, of course, like I said, pH balance is what really ultimately changes that. So this is kind of what I was talking about. It looks really pretty. It looks really nice. And I will definitely need to use it to get 2 purples. Discord link didn't work. Oh, no. Shane. Oh, crap. Can someone else try that? I thought I did something cool. And double check when you open the link. If you wait a second, it should redirect you. No! Dang it. Oh, are you kidding me? Okay, hold on. I'm going to throw a Discord link into the chat. I had it figured out, and then it didn't work. Seems like a story in my life right now. Let's see. Invite people. Okay. I'm not very savvy when it comes to the Discord side. I've been trying for a long time to get this down, and I'm definitely struggling all the time. So this is that Discord link. I thought I had made one that was unstoppable. The link worked. How did the link work for some of you and not for all of you? I do not understand. Maybe it was a one-time use or something silly. Anyways, there's the Discord link in the chat. If you want to join, I will. I'd love to have you guys there. We are going to. Well, I normally like to chat with those people too, and not all the time when I have time. Anyways, back to what we were doing. I don't remember where I was because there was a lot of things that happened. If you're just joining us, first of all, thanks for being here. I know you could be spending your Saturday night doing something else, but I'm glad to have you here. We're here to chat about mead making, and I don't have any big plans for this evening, to be honest. Really, it's just going to be a pretty chill evening of talking about mead. And I want to try and answer questions that I can and help you out in ways that I can, or just honestly learn from you guys too. So, I'll try to turn this light. There we go. I was kind of shiny there for a little bit. So, a couple things. Let's see what we got in the chat. Jason says, I think I'm going to hit the whiskey. A buddy of mine is a pseudocidal vet, and I'm trying to get a treatment. Man, that was a story. You have time? Yeah, I need to change it to unlimited. I thought I had, though. That was so silly. Worked that time. Okay, so here's what I want to ask. I do have some questions for you guys, because I think that the community is more fun when I get to ask you guys things as well. What do you guys, or rather, do you have any experience with dry hopping meads? I want to know if you've done it before, and kind of your results, / how did you do it? And I do think that well, there are a lot of ways to go about dry hopping something, especially a mead. And there are a lot of different hops. I wouldn't say that they all work super well. I do know that hops take down the well, I feel like the time it can age with a mead. I tried. What mead was it? It was my first one I'd ever dry hopped. It was a blood orange dry hopped mead from forever ago. And that it kind of went south a little bit. I don't know why. I don't know if it was the hops or something else, but definitely got a little bit sketchy there. Oh, Snoopy. Let's see. I don't know if you typed that before I said it or not, but I definitely was not trying to copy you. I'm very curious about the bee pollen question. What's the bee pollen question? You might have asked it whenever I was in the midst of fixing all the discords and things. Because I don't remember what it was. So if you wouldn't mind giving me that question again, I will gladly answer it. I need to take notes from this. I'm going to be taking notes. I mean, are you kidding me? Like, I feel like I have so much to learn still about mead making. I was told you need to use dark containers to ferment in with hops. I don't know if that's totally true. I think that, well, I'll be honest, I don't know for sure. This is just a speculation. I guess if you are fermenting in an area that the light is very prominent, there could be a chance that somehow the hops react in a weird way to the light, but to me, I don't really know the answer to that. I don't really know. If you're using bread yeast, I found to use half teaspoon for 1 to 3 gallons. I'm just not a big fan of using bread yeast. There's nothing against it. It's just I'd much rather use a wine yeast that I know is going to be consistent. But not that bread yeast can't be consistent, but I haven't had great results with bread yeast. Javier says hop pellets for a week, cold crash, and bentonite. Yeah, definitely to help that clarity, because it gets a little wild. I found, when I reach over in a second, there's this big, looks like a metal cage, and it's a dry hopping, essentially cage that you use to put your hop pellets in, and then you put it in there and you're able to pull them out, and it's theoretically supposed to keep it from getting too wild. Bruno says, is bee pollen on your radar? There's been a few research that seems to point towards pollen being a good nutrient. I honestly have not put it on my radar. Not because I did not knew about it and decided not to, because I haven't really investigated that much the research side. So it's definitely something to add to the list of things to do. Is it going to be an immediate test? Probably not, just because I honestly have so much going on. Back there behind me, there is, like, no joke, probably 40 gallons at least of things in process right now. So it is not, that's not aging stuff. That's like currently fermenting secondary situation. Nick, I will check out your email when I can get a chance. Absolutely. Drinking Horn Meadery says pellets over fresh for mead for us here. Interesting. Okay. Bentonite, it definitely is amazing stuff. Seth says pumpkin metheglin started at 1.120, 5 pounds of pumpkin, 2 pounds of honey. What would you do with something that's too sweet? You have some options. This is my least favorite option. I'm going to go bottom up. Least favorite would be to water it down with something. And I've seen people do this recently in some Facebook groups and stuff where they'll actually put water and cut the mead. And I just think that's so lame. What I would honestly do is I'd put that one to the side for now, make a traditional mead that goes dry, blend the two, and then you'll keep the mead character, hopefully, and cut it, but it won't be like cutting it with water. That's what I would do. Those are really the only options I can think of. I mean, other than if you wanted to add a new yeast like the EC1118, which goes up to 18%, that would for sure take out the rest of that gravity. What kind of ratio of hops to mead volume for hydromel? I got some Cascade hydro hops. I would love some other people to answer this too, but I'm trying to think what I used. I used like 1 ounce in a gallon, and it was decent. So that's my answer. John says, started my first braggot this week, fermenting well. That's awesome. Braggots are great. There's a Game of Thrones braggot that I want to do. It's the Hounds braggot, and my plan is to make that at some point when I have the time and ability to. And Seth's ended at 1.026. Yeah, I would definitely cut it with some traditional mead that's dry. I don't know how to say your name, so I'm going to call you Arian. Arian says, why is yeast a mandatory ingredient when commercialized yeast didn't exist in ancient times? I'm going to equate it to modern medicine. You think about the medicine we had back in the 1800s compared to now. It's just modernization of things, and truly just the control of things. Wine yeast and commercial yeast have greater control of specific things. If you want to use something that is intended for keeping the bright flavors in a wine specifically, then you might use this yeast. Whereas bread yeast and wild yeast are less controllable. And not that they're bad, but if you want to control your brew well and be consistent with your brewing, you'll use a yeast that has been created to be consistent. Shane says, any advice on a slow fermentation? Make sure you have given it nutrient. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit it with some organic, like Fermade O, if you can. Fermade K is also kind of organic, but you have diammonium phosphate. The big thing is you don't want to hit it with the nutrients too late, because the yeast don't know what to do with the food at that point. So make sure you hit it a little bit earlier. That 1/3 sugar break is generally a good point to shoot for. Javier says hops are light sensitive, and if a beer is struck by sunlight, it will become skunky. Interesting. Have one, yeah. Honestly, I've not experimented that much with hops, so I could not say for sure that's how it is. But that sounds like a fun experiment. Nick says, my wife bought some bottles of barley tea, so I thought, now why not use it to make a mead? I mean, I'd go for it. That sounds great. Make sure it doesn't have, well, I don't think it'll have any preservatives in it at that point. Bruno says, for dry hopping mead, I feel that an addition of hops at peak initial fermentation, 36 to 48 hours in, for like 4 days, will give a very balanced hop bitterness flavor to your mead. I definitely think so. Then if you want to boost it even more towards the end, dry hop again. Yeah, I think having both sides of the fence and hitting it early and later will really pronounce the hop character that you want, and you can have control of it for sure. Would mine be considered a braggot too? Barley tea. I don't know if that would be. I'd love a poll. Do you think that using barley tea in a brew is going to be considered a braggot? I don't know if I would honestly consider that to be a braggot. I would love to know you guys' answers though, because again, this is not about me knowing everything. Get back to there. Susan says, I've used that hopping cage for pellets tonight. Not the best results. Really? I haven't used mine yet, so I'm curious. Susan, why was it not the best results? That's interesting to me. Shane says, native yeast are abundant, but commercial yeast are easier to steer. That's definitely true. Shane also asked, what got you interested in mead? I don't know if that's directed at me, but I got interested in mead making whenever I moved and wanted to brew something, and I was looking at beer and things, and then I realized, well, I thought, man, beer requires too many things. I don't want to make beer. It's like you have to have all this equipment. Little did I know that mead also required lots of things. So I wanted to brew beer. The beginning of my YouTube career was actually like, I'll say the real start of my mead making career. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with that. TK says, have you ever made a wild mead? Actually, yes. I have made 3 now. The first one I made, I tried to do it with apples, and I had a bunch of stuff going out at the time, and I made the mistake of not stirring the bucket and ended up with a moldy mead, to say the least. And then second time was successful. I did it with organic raisins and honey, and that really, there was wild yeast that was on those things, so that made a decent mead at least. And then the third one is actually, I'm looking at it right now, it's in front of me. It is a wild fermentation from blueberries, and then of course the honey. And I used snow water as the base for it. So this one's turning out really good. It's still fermenting, still sweet, but I think it'll be great. Cade says, if I didn't use bentonite after the primary, will the mead still be fine? Yeah, that'll be fine. Totally. You can put in bentonite later. That's what I've done, and it works well. Some people say it strips flavor, and I do think that there's an argument to that, because a lot of time flavor can come from particulates inside of a brew. But theoretically, if you were to filter said mead, you would lose flavors as well. So it's kind of a lose-lose. But it's still worth it. Susan says, how much fermade to use in 1 gallon? Mine says 1.5 teaspoons. Is that right? Teaspoons, I think, for 5 gallons. So you're looking at 0.3 teaspoons for a gallon. I think that's the math. Somebody help me out. Chris says, would I need to add stabilizers to hydromel if I want to back sweeten it, keg it, and have it cold in my kegerator? No. If you want to back sweeten with honey, yes. If you want to back sweeten with regular sugar, yes. If you want to back sweeten with a non-fermentable sugar, like erythritol, which is the one I really like to use, that is a plant-based one, by the way, you can definitely do that. And you can put the non-fermentable sugar in. Yeast won't ferment on it. It will back sweeten. You can keg it without stabilizing. That's what I would do. Shane, I've been working in the wine industry for many years. Went to look at a job at a winery that made mead. Now I'm making my own mead. That's awesome. Let's see. What Blazer says, will you try to do another peppermint mead again? I actually have another one currently going. My goal with this video specifically was to do a beginning to end process with the peppermint mead because I realized that I don't have a video that's beginning to end, and to let it sit, well, to do it in a whole year. So this video is taking me a whole year. I have 2 videos right now that are taking me a whole year to do for this specific test. So one of them is the peppermint mead, and I've already made it. It's 3 months old now, and it's sitting currently in a carboy, aging, and I'm showing the process of what I do to get it where I like. So yes, I have another one going. Checking in from South Africa. Wow, 4:28 p.m. Mead stream wake call. That's awesome. Welcome, Lewis. Glad you're here. Susan says the cage only kept in about 1/3 of the hops. The rest came through the holes. Oh, I guess they're pretty tiny, so that would make sense. I need to try it at some point. I haven't tried mine. Nick says, by the way, my cranberry mead finished, and I back sweetened with some honey. I think it tastes really, really good. That's awesome. Yeah, I choose to bottle age more often because it's easier, especially because I have so many projects I start. So it doesn't really matter how you do it. Just make sure you age your meads. I'm gonna butcher this. I'm so sorry. Bejan says, is it accurate that hydromels don't need as much aging? Do they usually require half as much nutrient / energizer? Yeah, because well, I don't know about the half as much nutrient energizer. They still need nutrient and energizer. You probably will not need as much truly because it's not as big of a battle. But the aging side is definitely true. It's like a beer. Hydromels are similar to beer in that 7% beer is done, or let's say 5% beer is done in a month and a half, and that's the same thing for a hydromel. Do they still get better with age? For sure, but I would not say that they. I wouldn't say that they need a ton of age. Let's see. Chris says, so my yeast could still ferment at 35F. Wow. I don't know what kind of yeast you use, but that stuff's powerful. Alfred says, I've been wanting to make mead, but had a buddy make some of it and smelled and tasted like a mixture of medicine and strong alcohol after taste. I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't really know what was even in the mead, to be honest. JM says, back in the hobby after 10 years, these videos have been super helpful to help figure out what I was doing wrong. Short answer, everything. I still feel like I do so much stuff wrong. I feel like this is a continual cycle of learning what to do better. So one day I'll be at the point where I want to be, but it's going to take a little bit. Matthew says, I'm guessing, and drank my first mead because of your videos. Turned out really good with the clover honey. Second gallon is really on its way. Awesome, man. That's great. I'm glad to hear that. Alex says, I've never used nutrient, but used bread yeast in all my brews. Thoughts? I would steer clear of using bread yeast all the time. I think you'll be much happier if you try some wine yeast because you'll find that it ferments a little cleaner and creates a little better product. And I would definitely start using nutrient because the nutrient will help create a cleaner fermentation that gives you a better product at the end of it all. So that's just what I would do. That is my 2 cents. But who am I? Let's see. Shane says, have you run into the stereotype mead is too sweet? I've had several people tell me that. I've had a few of mine be too sweet for people, but most of the time I am more on the dry side, so I haven't had anybody say it's too sweet. There's definitely the stereotype in general that mead is too sweet. I think that mead is sweet, maybe not too sweet. If you ask somebody what they think a honey alcohol would taste like, undoubtedly they're going to say sweet or something like that. So that's just kind of what I think. TK is throwing in the emojis you get whenever you join that. So if you want to get some cool emojis to throw down, feel free to do that. So also, I'm going to plug this again because I want to say huge thanks. Speaking of TK now, thanks TK. If you want to support me, You can support me two ways. Well, lots of ways, but two of the main ways are YouTube membership. It's $1.99 a month, and it is the easiest way to help support the channel. These are some of my friends who have supported me, and I'm super grateful for them. So if you want to do that, I think the link is in the description, and if it's not, then I need to put it in there. So there's that. If you want to support me a different way, you can support me on Patreon. Patreon is similar to YouTube membership. There's a $2 tier, there's a $5 tier, there's a $10, and there's a $20. And at the $2 tier, you get access to my videos a week early. So, for example, my $2 tier and up have seen the video that's going out this coming Thursday already. The $5 tier is the same thing, but I have been giving them exclusive access to some extra opportunities, like some special mead tastings and stuff like that. And then the $10 tier and $20 tier have some other things too. All of that stuff goes to support me. So if you want to support the channel and just help me continue to make content and upgrade equipment and get a nice camera like I have now and that stuff, you can hop on over there. So thanks to those people. I guess I need to fix that little ending part. Lewis says, it seems that my brews that I use nutrient in doesn't clear up as nicely. What kind of nutrient are you using? Because some of them I feel can be cloudier. I don't know why they wouldn't be clearer though in general. That's odd. Cade says, so I'm going to step up my game in the mead world. What would be a good step up machine? Well, I don't know what you mean. Are you talking about a recipe? Are you talking about equipment? What's your goal? Susan says, question, what is your favorite ending gravity reading? I feel like most of mine end at 1.000, and then I back sweeten from there. I think if I could have it in a perfect world where everything just stopped as it is without ever having to think about back sweetening, I would stop at like 1.005 to 1.010, somewhere in the realm of almost 10 points of gravity. That's a good amount of sweetness to me. Alex says, have you ever force carbonated a mead? If so, tips. Let's see. I have a little, actually, this one right here is force carbonated. I've done it before with like a little 1 gallon keg. That's basically it. I haven't done it a lot. I've done mostly bottle carbonating methods. Joel says, what do you think of putting strawberries in a blender before putting them in the mead? I think that's great. You're definitely going to run the risk of lots of sediment, but you also are going to have sediment regardless. So that's probably the best way to impart strawberry flavor. You're just going to have a lot of sediment naturally. Cade equipment. I'm going to make a meadery. I don't know how to tell you the big equipment, to be honest. I can tell you that you need probably a bunch of big carboys, 5-6 gallon carboys to get yourself started. And then other equipment would be just if you want to buy fancy stirring things and nice honey. The big thing I would do is invest a lot of your money into good recipes and good quality honey, so you're making good stuff. Wish I had a better answer. I'm going to miss a couple of these questions. I'm going to try to get to them. What are your favorite go-to yeast? Difference does it make? QA23, D47, EC1118, Red Star Premier Rouge. All of them do great with mead making, cover a lot of bases. What do you want to make a traditional sweet mead without having back sweetened? Oh gosh, you're going to need to cap out your yeast. Let's say you're using the Lalvin QA23, gets up to 16%. You're going to have to use roughly 4.25 pounds to 4.5 pounds of honey to cap out the yeast to give you residual sweetness without back sweetening. That's kind of the best way to do it. Or use an ale yeast that gets up to 12%, get it up to 14% possible ABV, you'll have residual sweetness. Sorry, trying to blast through these because I'm going to miss them. Alex, I use bread yeast, blah, blah, blah. TK's going to start his first batch. Very nice, man. That's awesome. Super awesome. I have building plans. Very nice. Let's see. Matthew says, do you still think you should add ingredients, lemons, all the stuff during secondary fermentation, or can I add them earlier? Perfect world. Do them both. Add it in the primary and the secondary. When you put it into both of them, you're getting the maximum amount of flavor from the brew. If I had to choose one of the two, I prefer to put them in the secondary because I have more control of how long they stay in there. Also, you are protected. They are protected from mold because of the alcohol content. You still have to push the cap and make sure that they're submerged, but it's less likely to go bad. Nice. Cade's at 45 gallons of mead. Emil, I guess that's how I say it, working in medieval. Wow, that's pretty cool. Medieval restaurant. That is super cool. Any tips? A first-time brewer, historical accurate mead. I would look up some recipes, to be honest. I don't know of lots of great historically accurate mead recipes. I would say look them up and then just buy some equipment and go for it. And I wish I could give you better details, but I don't. From what I can recall, those historical ones are going to have probably wild yeast as their source, and so you're going to have to do a little research on how to properly take care of wild yeasts. Namely, in that you have to make sure and give them the proper environment they need, and that can be kind of tough. Cooper says, thinking of doing a lemon mint hydromel. Ooh, interesting. Anyone use mint? I've never used mint in a mead, so I cannot give my 2 cents for this one. I do wish I could, though. One day. That sounds fun. Ooh, that's what I need to add to the can it be a mead spice side is mint. I think that could be really interesting. I would love to do that at some point. Interesting. So I do want to highlight something. Like I said, I don't have any segments tonight, but I do want to highlight my podcast. And I know that I'm not trying to use this as a time to plug everything, but this is one thing that I do a lot, and I've had some really fun guests on. If you go check out on this channel, there are episodes, video episodes up, and I've had fun people like Ricky, the Mead Maker from YouTube fame himself. I've had Canadian Sasquatch on, who's also a YouTuber. I had Eric Fowler from White Labs Yeast on to chat. I had TK on, who's been in the chat some as well. And my goal is to start to include other people. I had Doing the Most, who's been on there. So I'm just interviewing and talking to people in the brewing scene about mead making. So this is, if you're going to go check it out, this right here. This is the art. You can go find it on Apple Podcast. You can find it on Spotify. You can find it on really anything you want. But that is it right there. It's called What's New with Mead. I hope you'll go check it out. That would be very kind of you. So thank you so much if you would want to do that. And I'm going to, boom, get away from that. Blazer said, got the book, got Mead to find some old items to brew. I think that's the best way to do it. Honestly, the research side, Doing the Most, who is one of my good friends, as you guys know, has actually got me a Christmas present. I feel bad because I wasn't expecting it. But he got me this wine and analysis, basically, book talking about the inner workings of wine. And so I'm going through that book, trying to study and get a little more confident on how fermentation works and how to best do it. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. Now, my next chat prompts, as I call it, whatever. I want to know. We talked about hopping a mead earlier. I want to know on the flip side of things. Have you? Well, not really flip side. Have you ever made a mead with multiple types of honey mixed in? And I'm mentioning this because I had a friend over today and we were actually shooting a video, and he asked me, he said, hey, have you ever made a mead with multiple honeys? And conveniently enough, I have one behind me that has 3 different honeys currently in fermentation. I've back sweetened with a different honey than the original one, but I would love to know if anyone's started off their brew or, I guess, added extra honey later to that specific thing. The one that I have going, that's the 3 honeys, is blackberry, blossom honey, clover honey, and buckwheat honey. I had to think about that, and I had to use different ratios. So the pretty sure the blackberry honey was 2 pounds of it, 1 pound of the clover honey, and half a pound of buckwheat, because buckwheat is super strong, and so I didn't want to go too crazy and risk possibly having the grassiest mead that's ever been made, essentially. So that's kind of what I want to know, and I think it's interesting. I feel like we fall in the trap of, not the trap, I feel like we decide, rather, to make a lot of meads with singular honeys, because we hear that is the way. That's the way you brew. You don't use any different kinds of honey. You stick with one varietal. Now, I do stick to that in specific circumstances. If I'm making a meadowfoam traditional, or if I'm making a meadowfoam mead, like I just posted this week, I'm going to try and keep the meadowfoam flavor. I'm not going to, throw in some buckwheat into that and then say, haha, here we are. I'm going to stick with that specific character of the honey. But if I have just a clover honey, I might mix in something else. Who knows? Cooper says, sorry, trying to hydrate. Okay. Cooper says, I've used cheap, pure, and simple honey, and then back sweetened with orange blossom. That's the way to do it for sure. You get the character from the orange blossom while also still getting the honey character from the regular. John says, the braggot I just started has 2 pounds of orange blossom and 2 pounds of buckwheat. Ooh, let me know how that one turns out. I feel like buckwheat itself kind of is a weird honey, and it's a little bit, I don't know, you gotta have a special taste for it. I was actually trying some today, again, showing my friend, and he was like kind of thrown off by it, just because it's very I think Doing the Most said it the best. He said it's a horse blanket aroma, so that's kind of what you get from it, in my opinion. Other people say, Cade says, I'm using a blackberry honey. Very nice, very nice. And, oh, this one sounds fun. Thomas says, I'm drinking an Innu Island ale, margarita style ale made with lihing, mango, lilikoi, and Hawaiian chili peppers. That sounds really good. I got some vodka and Dr. Pepper. Oh, man. Oh, that's good. Yeah, I love the back-to-back nature of those things. That was great. I'm part of me asking this for you guys is that I want to encourage you to sample with this. And I know it's hard to do. And sometimes we get this nice honey. Let's say you get a nice orange blossom honey, and you're like, I don't want to disturb the taste of the orange blossom in any way. So I'm going to stick away from doing anything different. I'm going to make sure and stay with orange blossom specifically. However, I want to encourage you otherwise. One of my favorite traditional meads I've made recently was a mead that I mixed in 2 different kinds of honey. And I ended up basically coming back and back sweetening with some mesquite blossom honey. And holy cow, that stuff was incredible. And it was 2 different honeys. So we'll see how this 3 honey mead turns out. I definitely think it's going to be, I think it's been great, but who knows? Hoping it turns out good. Tequila and lime carbonated water. Ooh, there you go. Joel says, I'm worried my mead won't come out good. I use store-bought honey. No, it's fine. As long as the honey did not... A couple, like, red flags for honey. Bought honey. Buying honey. Are, if it says pasteurized, it's not the end of the world. If it says unfiltered, or says filtered, still not the end of the world, but not great. If it says the word honey sauce, you need to run away as fast as you can. If it doesn't have the word honey anywhere in it, then you're definitely out. So I think you'll be fine. I've used cheap Walmart honey and got a decent product out of it. Are you going to get the super nice, florally, estery, nice things you get from a really high quality honey? No, but you're going to get a decent product at least. TK says, favorite honey variety. I just recently bought a pail of alfalfa blossom. No, I'm sorry, not alfalfa. Avocado blossom. Both start with A's. And that one's really good. Mesquite is up there, my second one. The third one, what's another one I really like? Orange Blossom's pretty classic, I would say. I'd say I would use more of that. I don't put buckwheat up there as my favorites. Those are kind of my favorite ones. The Meadow Foam is good. It's definitely niche. I don't know if I would use a ton of it. Alfalfa Blossom, like I mentioned, actually is pretty good too. Mesquite or avocado are two of my favorites. Just because the avocado has this like roasty, nutty side that you don't really expect. It's just there. It's super good actually. Emil says, thanks, we'll look into wild yeast. Just found your channel yesterday and seems to have loads of recipes. Do you also have mead tastings, commercial meads? I do. I have a second channel. I am following the way of TK in a lot of ways. And I will actually pull it up real fast. If you want to support me, if you want to see all the mead tastings I do them on my second channel. So the second channel is called Man-Made Mead Extras, and it is it's really where I just post all those things. So let me get to the chat. This is, if you want to follow me, if you want to follow this channel, this is the Man-Made Mead Extras channel. Feel free to follow that for any mead tastings you might like. Oh, I missed a lot of things. Holy cow. Hold on, getting back. Honeycomb in primary, messy. That's definitely true. Susan says I made a mesquite honey boucher and backsweet with orange blossom. That sounds really good. Alfour says, is it okay to have an active yeast, use an active dry yeast by Red Star without using yeast nutrient? Yeah, it's okay. If you don't want to use, well, I would use some yeast nutrient of some sort. So if you don't have any access to like some fermented O, fermented K, take some bread yeast, some of that Fleischmann's bread yeast, and actually boil it, which will kill it, and then put that in there, and that will act as nutrient for those yeast. It's kind of cannibalistic, but it's the truth. Ernesto says, anyone have experience with fireweed? I've heard about it. That sounds interesting. Fireweed honey seems like it's one on my list to get for sure. What else we got? Snoopy says, maybe I'm just basic. I've only used local wild Alberta honey. That's not basic. That's fine. Use what you have. You don't have to go buy the crazy expensive honeys to make nice things. You know, people do it all the time. And John says, not sure as it counts as two types, but I made a strawberry boucher, 3 pounds bouchered wildflower honey, added 1 pound of agave syrup to the primary. It's been aging a month. I could probably try it soon. That sounds really good. I would definitely be curious to hear how that one turns out after it's aged a little longer. And TK says, orange blossom tends to taste medicinal. That's fair. I definitely think it's not for everybody, and that's the thing with honey types. You are going to find ones you like, and then you're also going to find stuff that's terrible. And if you don't like buckwheat honey, for example, I'm not the biggest. I would not spend the money to buy a 40-pound pail of buckwheat honey again, but I've experienced it and I know, so it's worth a try. It's always worth a try. I recommend you to always try something new in mead. We got 2 people from Alberta. Ooh, that's fun. Walloping says, hello. Welcome. Welcome, everybody. If you are just joining, we are chatting about mead making, and that's what this is about. It's called Let's Talk Mead Live. I almost said Let's Chat Mead Live. Let's Talk Mead Live. Normally, I try to do some little segments in here and videos and stuff, but today is simple. We are just kind of, trying to chat about things, and I'm getting to learn from you guys, and hopefully, I can tell you about my mistakes so you guys don't make the same ones. Ooh, there was... I wonder if I can find it. Let's see. Somebody sent me... I don't know if it's... I'll get it out eventually. Somebody sent me... It was crazy. He sent me a list of every single meadery in the world that he had compiled from. I mean, it's a Google sheet, and it was incredible. So I need to share that. I need to throw that on my website or something, so that other people can see that. Because holy cow, it was very cool. It had links, so like you could click on it and find the specific meadery and go there. It was very cool. And I wish I could remember who sent me that. I need to remember that right now. Hopefully I'll recall that. So yeah. DJ says, I have some honey vanilla chamomile mead. How should I back sweeten it? You could stabilize it if you want to. I don't know what the ABV is at, but you'll probably have to stabilize it seemingly. You could also stabilize it in any way you want. Pasteurization, you could use potassium sorbate, metabisulfite. You can cold crash it 8 million times. There's lots of ways to do it. I would just back sweeten it post stabilizing in some manner, because if you don't, you're going to run into the issue that you're going to have re-fermentation. I don't know what specific honey you want to use. I would use whatever you have, to be honest. I don't really know what honey you used in the first place. Blazer says, any thoughts on raspberry cinnamon mead? Raspberry cinnamon mead. I think it could work. I don't know. Raspberry has like its own tartness to it. The cinnamon, it's the I don't know. My brain says no, but my mind says yes. So I want to try it. That seems like a fun experiment itself. Latronibus says, I racked a low water berry melomel today. I was pretty disappointed in the high losses. The samples we took were amazing. Yeah, unfortunately, when you use fruit, if you don't start with a ton, you're going to run into the issue of losing a lot. So I always, if I'm making a 1 gallon recipe, pretty much all the time now, I will start in a bucket or something bigger than 1 gallon so that I end with a gallon. Because I don't want to worry about headspace. That's just annoying. Ooh, look. If you want to listen to my music, check it out. This is behind me. This is the album. It's called Miel. This is what everything we're listening to today is from that specific album. So if you want to listen to it, it is on Spotify, Amazon, Apple Music, all of those things. And it is by the artist named Bello. So I will maybe, that video will be out soon. I don't have the links ready. I should have had those links ready. And now, let's see. Oh, there we go. Sorry, I was trying to restart this. Missed a couple things. Oh, gosh. What happens when you start talking? Snoopy says, what do you prefer for decrystallizing honey back to liquid? If I'm in a pinch, honestly, and it's a small amount, I will put it in the microwave for 30 seconds. If I have time, I will put it in my sink with warm water and just heat it up that way. I don't know of any other great ways to do it, frankly. Sorry. See, I don't know everything. Oh gosh, missed a lot of stuff. Alfred says, have you tried making a mead with sunflower honey? I have not. I honestly didn't even know sunflower honey was a thing. So, might be for the list. Honey in Spanish? Yes, that is. It is. It also, I think it's actually mead in another language, I think. Maybe it's not, but it is honey in Spanish. Okay with music being slightly louder. Okay. I will bump it up just a little bit. Sweet. I don't want to be too loud, but it's okay. If you guys are jamming, I'm jamming too. But here's one of my fun things. This video will be out soon. I'm going to move the chat for a second. So this is really cool. Oh, it's on this side. Oh, gosh. This side. Oh my gosh, I'm backwards. This is some nice video I took of a close-up of a mead fermenting. Gosh, how do I get out of the way? And look at that. That thing looks great. And it's like, it's kind of mesmerizing in my opinion. And that's the main reason I did it. The whole video is just my music on top of this right here. So it's pretty cool. I like it quite a bit. And it's like, the music itself is, I feel like it falls into the lo-fi, that genre of music now that exists. I don't really know exactly. Mine doesn't fit into the complete lo-fi spectrum because that's its own thing. But this thing was really cool. Gosh, I keep pointing the wrong way. I'm backwards. Let's see. Dave says, made mead for the first time earlier this year. Thank you for your help. Happy to help. This is a blast. This is honestly a joy for me, and I love getting to do this, and I can only hope that I'm helping in some way, whether it's by you guys learning from my mistakes or learning from the successes I have. Brad says, cheap honey for learning how to hone skills, or quality honey for such batches. Definitely. That's a good question. I would say I would go more on the side of quality honey at the beginning if you're a beginning brewer. Now, I only say that because one of my, that kind of takes me in one of my thoughts I had, which was I want to actually go and get some cheap honey that's still of okay quality and see if I can make it taste as nice as the nice honey I might buy. Now, I don't know how to do that specifically, but I feel like after years of mead making now, I might have the tools, mental tools and whatever, to make it the best it can be. But I don't know for sure. I would definitely spend money on nice honey and instead of buying cheap honey at the beginning. But Latronibus, I'm saying that wrong, is right too. If you're mixing it with other things, you can get away with cheaper honey. So mellow mel's are a great example. If you're making a apple mellow mel of some sort, then you're gonna not need as much amazing honey character quote. JM infinite bottle of mead. Some drinkers will have them make them over time. Yeah, I actually have back over on this side over here. I have a house blend that when I am bottling things, if I have a little bit left, I throw some of that in. So I kind of have that infinite bottle going. I haven't tasted it in a little while, so I don't know what it is like. Could be interesting. Alan, welcome. You missed it. You're still here. That's what matters. Lewis says, would you add oak to a mead with fruit flavors? For sure. I would add oak to any mead. I think that it could be very nice for adding tannic value. It could also be really nice for adding the specific wood flavor you get. So some oaks might have vanilla that come out and stuff like that. So you can get some extra things that are really nice. Michelle, I think I'm saying that right, says if you do any sous vide cooking, an immersion circulator is great way to soften your honey. Okay. It's good to know. That's good to know. TK, what's an infinite bottle? So it is essentially you're continually filling up a bottle with various things you get. So at least this is my understanding of it. Correct me if I'm wrong. So for my sake, for my thing, I have this little half-gallon mead, and I am just adding things on top of it. So eventually this bottle is going to have 50 plus different kinds of mead that are mixed into it. And it is just a way to make just a wild product. I could be very wrong, but that's my interpretation of an infinite bottle, is just adding things on top continually, never letting it go completely empty. And so you're just, doing more and more. Joel says, never tasted mead. How do I know it's good? Well, I would first of all suggest to go and find some mead somewhere around you. I don't know where you're at, but try to, if you can't find, well, put it this way. If you can't find mead, make mead and try it. And then, just kind of go from there. If you feel like, well, it's all up to you. If you like mead, if you like the specific taste of it, great. But I'd be, what's the word I'm thinking of? Hard pressed to say, I don't know, that all mead is good, because it's a subjective thing. And I think that's That's the thing. So go buy some mead or make some. And if you, the way you know it's good is if you like it. I hate that's such a stupid answer. I feel like it's a cop out answer, but it's true. If you like it, it's good. That's just how it is. Yeah, TK is how kind of how soy sauce goes. So. Yeah, that's that. I don't know. Gosh, I feel bad with that answer. I wish I had a better answer. I should have a better one. Dave says mead is much tastier when you make it yourself. I agree, especially because you know you're saving money. Mead can be expensive. Commercial mead can be expensive. I have, I do the mead reviews. We talked about that earlier, and that's money. TK himself, he does mead review things, and he can attest to it too. Buying commercial mead is expensive. So in a way, it tastes better whenever you are actually making it yourself, because you're saving money. Let's see. Javier says, I personally cannot stand bone dry meads. That's fair. You don't have to like them. I mean, you could find your own style you like and go with it. Michelle says, many people talk about using boiled brewer's yeast. That's a great way to provide nutrient for your yeast, because yeasts are kind of cannibals in their own way. If you need to provide them with nutrient, you can actually use boiled bread yeast. It kills them, and then they kind of feast on their brethren, which is interesting. It was a stupid question. That's not a stupid question. That's a great question, actually. I didn't give a great answer. Alan says, I've only ever tasted my own mead, so I have nothing to compare it to, but I like it. That's great. Now, I would recommend at some point, once you make your own, to go buy some commercial mead or taste somebody else's mead that you might find and see what theirs is like, so you have a comparison between the two. And that is honestly the best way that you're going to grow, is when you see what other people are doing too. It's good to make your own and grow within your own right, but when you know that this is what the commercial brewers are making and this is how it's successful, then you can kind of gauge your world and say, okay, then yeah, I will go with this. So that's my opinion. Michelle says, as nutrient, how do you find it compares to Fermaid? I've never done a boiled bread yeast comparison, so I can't speak to that. I wish I could, however I can't. Sorry. I would say it's even. I don't really know. Bob, welcome. TK says look for a local meadery for your first commercial mead. Yeah, so if you can find one locally. I am not in a great place in the US for mead making. I only have one meadery around me, and it's like an hour and a half away, so it's local, but I'm not driving out there. You know what I mean? I would like to be able to drive out there more often, but I can't. Snoopy says, I started buying some commercial mead and other samples. Haven't gone back since I've started making my own. I would definitely go back and buy some other ones. I think that you're gonna... it's such a learning experience. You are gonna try things you like from other people, and you're gonna try stuff you don't like. And at the end of the day, you're doing research. You're researching how to be a better mead maker via trying other people's meads. And I can honestly say that I've grown and I've felt inspired by a lot of the things that other people have made that I've tried. Whereas if I only ever tried my stuff, you don't have a scope for what the rest of the world is like. So I would not be too... I don't know. I would not be too afraid to go out and try other stuff. Is it scary because you're spending money? For sure. But at the end of the day, you're doing research. I mean, that's the way I think about it. Eric says, which could taste your mead? I would love to sell my mead one day. However, I would like to do it in a legal way and not get in trouble. So maybe one day, but we'll see. Yeah. All right, I got about 10 minutes left, you guys. So if you have any other questions for me, feel free to shoot them my way. I want to spend this last bit just, of course, chatting with you guys. I do want to throw up these other links again because I think that it's important First of all, thank you. Or actually, let's go this. Go check out the social media links. If you want to support the channel, you can follow me on Instagram. You can follow me on Facebook. There's a Facebook group called the Man-Made Mead Makers. Lots of M's. And then that Discord link is wrong. So, sorry. I'll actually throw the Discord link. If someone from the Discord is here, will you throw that Discord link back up? Because that would be super nice and helpful. For the moment, because I lost it. I think it's somewhere in the chat, but I don't want to have to go back. So these are my social links if you want to follow me on that. And then, yeah. I want to emphasize this too. You guys are talking about commercial mead tasting. The other side of this world is the mead community. And that's what we're doing here. We are growing the mead community by talking about mead making. And I think it starts with this. It starts with us chatting about mead making and how to get better and how to make better meads. And then it expands off to talking about mead stuff with your friends. Now, it seems silly, and I get it, because as somebody who makes mead and who makes as YouTube content, I don't always run through the streets and go, try this mead or go make a mead, because it's a little crazy. You're that crazy person that goes, man, he just really likes that super old alcohol. That's weird. So you don't want to be the weirdo. But it's also good if somebody you know is looking to try a new kind of alcohol, if you will say, hey, I've got this bottle of apple cider. I've got this mead. And they go, what is mead? And you go, well, mead is a honey-based alcohol. And then you show them it. So I would recommend to just talk about it with your friends, and let's grow this mead community to be a bigger thing. It's more fun with more people. That's the truth of it. I've missed some things when I got on my spiel. Sorry. Yeah, we got some meadery talking here. Never ending Greg. If I were to make a Pop-Tart mead, how long should I keep it in secondary in a bag? Oh, great question. I think if you submerge the bag, you could probably get away for I'm thinking back to the graham cracker experience I've had where I put graham crackers into something. Put them in for about 5 days, 4 days. You could probably do a week on a Pop-Tart. Try it. Let me know. I'm curious now. Emil says, I host mead tastings at the restaurant, and often people are shocked on the difference of a dry to sweet mead. Definitely recommend going to a tasting if you have the opportunity. Absolutely. Likewise with finding local mead, if you have an avenue to actually to go to a mead tasting, then that's also well worth it. And that's a rare opportunity. I don't think everybody in the world has a opportunity to taste meads like that. So I would jump on that in a heartbeat. Yeah, good luck with the Pop-Tart mead. Michelle says, anyone ever experiment with agave as part of your fermentable? I've never done agave, so someone else was going to have to bring that up. Dave says, to bring up a problem I had while siphoning my mead, after sediment has set to the bottom, I would get to the vortex of sediments. Vortex. That sounds cool. Vortex of Sediment sounds like a cool band name. I don't really have a great answer for you. I always lose a little bit of mead whenever I siphon off, because I try not to get those last little particles of things. Don't have a great answer. I'm sorry. Trying to post the link to the Discord, not showing up in the chat. Hold on, I think I can pull it up real fast. If you want to join the Discord, y'all, this is a great way to do this, and this link will only last for 1 day, because I've learned now that I goofed. Join the Discord, y'all. The Discord is if you don't know what it is a place to... Oops, I messed up that Discord link. It is a place to chat with other people about mead making. It's just essentially another community. And it's a community, honestly, that's more active. If you want pretty much immediate feedback on something, posting it in the Discord is awesome, because there are people on there almost all the time, and they give their opinion. It's great. It's a good avenue. It's a good community to be a part of. Facebook is awesome too. but Facebook can sometimes take a little while longer to get a response. There's a lot of ways to do this, but the Discord's a great community to be a part of, and I think hopefully people who are in the Discord will agree that it is a neutral environment. It is very hopefully very helpful to you. Try back over here. That link is in there. Bang. Rick M, the Mead man. That's my name. Yeah. Okay, I got about 5 minutes left, y'all. Any last questions? And then I gotta hop off and uncage my dog, and even though he terrorized the studio space, went crazy. That was the start of this stream. If you are just joining late, about 4 minutes before the stream started, my dog, it's about 4 months old, came tearing through this area, and I have cords and stuff because I was going to a camera and it's all technical, and he unplugged a lot of things, caused a lot of drama. So I would not like to repeat that. So he needs to learn how to chill out. We're working on that. Rick M says, you helped me with my first Mead batch. Thank you very much for all your help. I'm super happy to help, man. This is my joy. This is fun for me to do, and I'm just hoping that I continue to be helpful, and that I can maybe continue to give you guys new recipes and things. Snoopy says, I need to use the Discord more. I kind of keep forgetting about the Discord. It is a great source, really. I look on there. I need to be more active myself. I'll say that too. I just get caught up in everything going on. Unfortunately, I've spread myself very thin in the world of social medias. So having the Facebook page and a Discord, and Instagram, and all these things, and emails starts to really stack up as the day progresses. That's unfortunate, but it is okay. So that's the Discord link. Super thankful for that. And I think we had some new people. Jump on there. And since they just joined, I'll shout them out. Look at all these people. This is fun. We have... Oh, wow. That's a lot of... Man. Okay. But I don't want to miss any more questions. So, all right. I'm going to go ahead and start wrapping up the stream. First of all, thank you all so much for tuning in. I am hoping I can maybe do this next week. There's less of a chance that I'll be able to do it next week, but I will try to do this more regularly. My goal is to continue to bring you guys content for one, but to also just chat about things and give you guys a platform to chat with other people, because I think it's fun. So I am very thankful for the position I'm in. I put something on YouTube, my community page, about how thankful I am to be where I am and how content I am. It seems, I feel like I'm, seems arrogant, and I'm not trying to be arrogant. I'm just very thankful for the place I'm at, and regardless of if tomorrow I never post a video again, I'm pleased with what I've done, and I can only hope to continue to help you guys in some way, provide content, and also, just be a positive influence in this community. So I'm here to help. If you ever need anything, hit me up on anything, on Facebook, hit me up on Discord, email, all of those things. I'm here to help. Truly, this is my second job, essentially, and I want to be helpful in whatever ways I can. So this has been a lot of fun. Thank you for everyone for tuning in. We had someone tuning in at 4 a.m. in Sweden. Oh my gosh. Golly, you guys are too great. Thank you so much. You are so kind. So I'll be back sometime. I can't say exactly when, but I'll be back with some more things. And yeah, so thank you guys. I will see you next time, and cheers. I gotta do this.